Five, four, three, two, one. Let's go. Good morning, Misfits. It's Monday. We don't usually do Mondays. We do maybe Mondays. And as I said on Saturday, we were gonna do it today because I need to hit those Rumble Creator Program hours. I got 2 hours left to hit that 30-hour minimum, and I got a great guest coming on. I actually don't. I just realized. I realized it yesterday, but I should have asked him before. Don't know his name. I know him as the Moderate Case, but a lot of people know me as the Misfit Patriot, not Zach. So let's find out. Here he is, the Moderate Case. What's your name?
Jacob. A lot of
Jacob.
people
All right.
don't know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well, I
kept
mean,
it
you didn't
away.
have to. I could call it. It's a mouthful to say the Moderate Case because people will call me
Yeah.
Misfit for short. But I don't know. Like calling you Moderate would sound really weird, or like Case. Like I actually was wondering. I was like, maybe that's his name. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's going on, brother?
I'm good. Tired from traveling. I've been doing a
Yeah.
lot of stuff lately,
I
but
was I was
good to
just
be
telling
here.
you, I actually have not gone to sleep yet. I had one of those. I've been sick since Tuesday. I was actually like starting to get sick when I went to this Spurs game, and I told my buddy I was like I'm not feeling good, and he was like, yeah, just drink, and I was like, yeah, you know what, you could I think you can actually do that. I forgot I used to live in Florida. You can't be drunk and sick at the same time, but the trade-off is you wake up feeling like even shittier the next day. So I've been, yeah, my sleep schedule got all messed up. So I feel you there, but we'll get through it real quick. If my audio cuts out, it's because I forgot to charge my mixing thing. So I have some headphones as backups. So if my audio
Yeah.
cuts out, we'll do a quick 5 seconds and I'll be back on. But
Okay.
yeah, man. So Jacob, I wanted to get you on. I've been following you for a while. I love what you're doing. I've said to you a couple times, either in comments or reposts or even in private messages, I go, like, you're the next Charlie Kirk. And the reason I say that is I watch the way you debate and I watch the way that you articulate things. You're very intelligent and you just seem to have a good handle um, on how to have discourse, and that's one of the most important things. I don't do that. I'm one of these people that say do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah.
I'm a very combative person, but I like what you're doing, and I just wanted to let you know that.
I appreciate that.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get started in this? What's your platform about? And what you're doing on the internet.
Yeah. So I got started doing, I guess, this political commentary when I was maybe 16, 17.
Hmm.
I think the thing that like sparked my interest in politics was the election in 2016. I was young. I was born in 2003. So
Okay.
I've been making stuff on TikTok for 7, 8 years, about that long. I've been banned twice.
Fun
I
fact:
grew up making a
I've been banned more than any person on the internet as far as TikTok goes. 367 times. Beat that.
yeah, I'd seen you whenever I was growing up because I made pretty right leaning content, and I got banned like 3 times,
Yeah.
especially during the like the BLM period with all
Hmm.
the LGBTQ stuff that was just being pushed down everybody's throat. So
Hmm.
I grew up just talking about American politics, American social issues, and all that stuff. And I was in my freshman year in college, and I had just made a new account, and I was like, I'm not going to do this. And then I was in my junior year of college. I studied political science. I went to school to do that. My plan was to go to law school. I actually worked in a law firm and worked in my state house of representatives doing politics and stuff like that. And I got a notification on my phone about the Hamas attack, and I made one video on TikTok and it like blew up. And
Hmm.
then that like exposed me to this like whole realm of anti-Semitism online. Not even like I wasn't even like defending Israel and making videos the way that I do it today. I just made a video of like responding to anti-Semitism. It got
Hmm.
like 1 million views and
Yeah.
it blew up. And I just started responding to comments. And that was like a big issue that I took on. And I gained a lot of traction and stuff from that issue. And then ever since then, I've been talking about, I talked a lot about the election in 2025, domestic policy, foreign policy. Now I talk about culture, domestic policy, immigration, uh, and Israel and all of that stuff. So it's just kind of come to me. it came very surprisingly and very quickly, but, I'm
Yeah.
glad to be able to do what I do.
Yeah, no, you kind it's funny you just told my story. Like it's pretty much very very similar, you know, obviously got was on TikTok, got banned, started talking about I didn't when you said it wasn't about like a pro-Israel perspective, I blew up after October 7th because I did a video that said what the fuck happened to September 12th mentality in this country where we get together when
Yeah,
radical Islamic terrorists do radical Islamic terrorist shit, and we all go, no, you're the
yeah,
bad guy. Why are we bitching at the Jews? What's up? And I was actually open to being educated as far as why Israel's this big bad scary globalist superpower, but I just wasn't because they're not. I'm not a I'm not a big defender of the Israeli government. I don't talk much about the Israeli government. I talk about Jew hate and I talk about um,
yeah,
being anti radical Islamic terrorism. So
yeah.
apparently that just means I'm an Israeli shill. I'm assuming you are too.
Oh, yeah, anytime you mention, Israel or say the word Jew, it's 10,000,000 comments of, plus 7,000.
Oh
They
yeah,
think
each of us
everybody's
got
being
seven
paid.
thousand. We're both getting paid 7,000 for this episode. It's just it's
I'm a multimillionaire by now. It's been every video for the past, like, 4 months, so it's just, like, crazy. But, yeah, I'm the same way with you. I couldn't care any less about their internal politics. I'm not Israeli, it's none of my business. Those people can criticize their government. I want my government to be strong. I want my people to be strong, level-headed, and not hate people because of how they're born. So
yeah.
and
No, and
I'm not a fan of Islam. I think we could all
yeah,
understand
I
that.
I think that that's a fair way to view it. And here's the thing. I really wanted to bring you on, not to sound like a boomer, but I know that you're Gen Z. You said you're born in 2003, so you're 22,
Yeah,
23 years old. And I think that we have a problem right now with indoctrination of our youth through social media, right? I think that
yeah,
that's the best way to describe it because what Charlie Kirk would do is he would go to college campuses where he would meet them in real life, but attacking the problem on social media is way more difficult because these kids are in a classroom every day. They're in school every day. It's called TikTok University or Instagram University. And one of the things that I tried to expose on TikTok, which is why I got banned so many times, was how they indoctrinate people and how that
yeah,
whole system works and how they ban and silence people who are speaking out against certain things. So, what is your sentiment as far as on the online space? I understand that, and I'm not trying to lead you, but I think this is common sense. The online is not real life, okay?
yeah,
But it affects real life. So
yeah,
if a problem grows big enough online, it can actually um,
yeah.
move into the culture. So what's your take on
No,
that?
no, for sure. Well, to address what you said there at the end, I've said this many times with like a lot of the people who were in my like debate sphere and my niche, especially as it pertains to Israel. And again, I don't want to harp on Israel the whole time, but when you have a generation that is raised on social media to believe something other than their parents, like what we're seeing now with like the Gen Z, like huge divide and shift away from Israel, that one generation is all it takes to lose an entire set of, say, foreign policy, because
Hmm.
those children then grow up believing all of these things, and then they are the ones who are instituting the policy, and then they're raising their children
Yeah,
to believe the same thing. So all it takes is the loss of one generation to lose on an entire issue.
yeah. Well,
But yeah,
Yuri Bezmenov talked about this in the '80s. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to hold on to it at least in some way. And now the issue is that it's not only the left and the progressives and all of the whatever you would want to call them, however they would self-identify. You also have the divide on the right. But yeah, social media isn't real life. It's now fueled by clicks and views.
hmm
I love X. I think X is a great platform, but the moderation there is non-existent. Now, as
yeah,
a free speech absolutist, I love it and hate it because I see so many idiots that just get to say whatever they want. But I also
sure.
like the ability for people to speak their mind. But
Another thing on that, right? Because I'm a free speech absolutist, and I think that there's a conflation between some like anarchy and free speech, right? Where it's like I think that Elon has a very black and white view of this, and I'm not sure if he's just not moderating it at all on purpose, or if it's more like um he doesn't know how to control the bot problem or the
Yeah.
foreign influence problem. But I think that there is a way to fix social media in general, and it's to give more power to people to self-moderate. And what I mean by that is Instagram will allow you to block a person's device or a person's entire device or their whole account or whatever. But X doesn't do that. So, and as somebody who has a lot of stalkers and haters, I have people that go on and they have made I'm not even exaggerating. One person made 200 sock accounts with my picture, same picture, just a bunch of different names. And for those of you that are listening that don't understand what a sock account is, it's basically when you just make a whole bunch of accounts using a program and you can log in and out of them with the click of a button. And if you block one of those on Instagram, all 200 get blocked. But if you block one of them on X, you're only blocking one. Another thing that you could do is, and I don't think this is a violation of free speech at all. I think that it's actually kind of necessary to roll with the times, is real human verification for any account. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that you have to post your real name and you have to dox yourself. I'm saying just like you would open up like certain apps like PayPal where you have to real human ID, you have to do it on X
Yeah.
too. I think that that's fair, especially in the
Yeah.
environment we live in with all the bots and foreign influence.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even realize how bad bots were and all that stuff until I saw a bunch of studies that were going into, some big accounts, especially lately. I saw one about Nick Fuentes because 'cause
Yeah,
I've seen some of his posts, and it's like, he can just, like, type the word ratio, and it gets, like, 50K likes, and I'm like,
yeah,
"What is up with this?" Like, I know he has, like, a huge and growing audience, but it's like, I saw a study that looked into that, but it would be a lot more difficult for people to have the confidence that they do on social media if they had their actual legal name and their profile picture,
sure.
a picture of them attached to it. People get a lot of confidence typing on the internet
Yeah,
behind a screen whenever they don't have to say anything about themselves or, uh, I don't know, what's the word, harm in any way or
yeah.
give any, like, back
Well,
put on
this
their
is what
who
this
they
is
are.
why real human ID should be on social media, right? It's not because I still think that you should be able to post with anonymity, but let's say you're literally doxing somebody or harassing or sending a death threat to somebody, right? I think that person should be able to file an actual police report and then
Yeah,
have a subpoena sent over to X and have X go, this is the person's name. We have their ID because they opened an account.
yeah,
But I don't think that I think that right now, I actually know right now, if you try to do that, the answer from law enforcement, FBI, anybody is, oh, we can't find them. They're using an anonymous account. They made their account with a fake email. I think that would solve a lot of problems because I mean I'm not sure how much you get, but I have this whole show called Hate Mail Thursdays where we go through my death threats and everything like that, and it's a weekly thing. Not that it
that's
bothers me. It's
interesting.
just you shouldn't be able to fucking do that.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea, actually. I'm sure you get a lot of it. I know you're,
Yeah.
uh relatively big over on X, and, I've seen your stuff, again, for a long time, even before we met, I guess this is personally, through social media, but
Yeah.
no, I've seen your stuff. I'm sure you get it. I've gotten it for years. I get it all the time. I've actually filed 3 FBI reports where they've gone through and found people because I was being sent my address and stuff and had a
Oh
bunch of
yeah.
crazy people telling me they were gonna come kill me, so
They've made
that's
AI. They've made AI generated videos showing my building, walking up to my door
oh, man.
with a gun and being like, and in the actual lyrics of the song were "Go to his house and shoot him." And people were
That's
reposting it.
insane.
I just laugh about it because I'm like, I don't know if you can see behind me, but it's like, if you guys want to show up here, good luck. Um,
It's sad, man, the
sh-
political state of everything, of
Well, yeah, that's another
disagreeing
thing. So
and
I wanted to get your take because so you were at Amfest. We were supposed to do
yeah.
this episode like right after Amfest, but it is recent enough where I think your memory's still solid on that. When you were hearing like Tucker Carlson versus Ben Shapiro, the energy in the room, right? Like, were you getting the same energy vibe from the, like, let's say the online space in real life? Because I don't think it sounded like that. I was just watching from home.
No, it wasn't as loud with, Tucker. There were pockets
Mm,
of cheer,
yeah.
and there were also pockets of I'm not gonna associate everybody who supports Tucker Carlson as a groyper, but
Yeah.
it's overwhelmingly the grippers because they collectivize around being, anti-Israel, like this isolationist thing.
Hmm.
And that's like obviously a huge topic, whether I'm going to say it or not. It's kind of implied. Tucker is going to talk about it outright, but he did, but he also implied it many times, talking about Israel and America's relation. No, it was very loud with Ben. He was the first actual guest speaker behind Erica, and what he did was amazing. It was the epitome of what every honest conservative pundit should do: hold their
Hmm.
side accountable and call out what is right and what is wrong. As for Tucker, he was the latest of the night. I didn't notice many people leaving. The first night's always packed.
Yeah.
But no, it was just pockets of people, like,
Yeah.
you could hear everybody swarming when Ben talked, whereas when Tucker talked, it was like a pocket of, like, 20 people over here and a
Yeah,
pocket of,
like a
like,
group
20
that came
people.
together. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was actually looking at the exit polling from Amfest, and I was actually surprised. I was shocked because their like foreign policy in relation to Israel or anywhere else was like really low on the list. The main topic that was of concern was winning the midterms, which is what is true. That should be the main focus, which is something that I've told my audience I'm pivoting to beginning of the year. I got to get out of this whole, like, obviously we're going to keep talking about the woke right. We're going to keep talking about radical Islam. We're going to keep talking about little Israel stuff and Candace Owens stuff every once in a while, but I feel like the conversation has been taken over by Israel because we've allowed it to,
Yeah.
and the war's over. It's not something that we even
Yeah.
have to talk about anymore. It's almost like it's a dead horse at this point.
Yeah.
But as far as like your generation, who like you're basically the target audience for Turning Point USA, lower 20s, late teens. I wanted to know that because if you were at that event and you were feeling the energy, then it doesn't seem to line up with what I've been hearing from other people that were at the event and from what I even heard. Like, because when you're watching it on TV, you can hear the little cheers and you can hear the pockets. But from what I've heard, Ben Shapiro got really big cheers. Nick Freitas got big cheers. A bunch of people who are more aligned on the moderate, like on the common sense side, were getting big cheers. And the sensationalist, isolationist, anti-neocon, crazy people that were there, Russell Brand and fucking Tucker Carlson, they didn't really get a lot of like
Yeah.
sentiment.
Yeah. No, that's exactly how it went. Obviously, everybody had, people there who were, cheering loud and stuff like that. Russell Brand was the most dead of all of them. A lot of people
Yeah,
there, I
it
felt
was
like, didn't even know
uncomfortable.
him. Yeah, I mean, he was like, I just feel like he was irrelevant for, like, a long period of time after, like, his whole thing with Katy Perry. I was like, I hadn't heard of this guy in forever, but he still has a big platform. I mean,
Yeah.
it's up for them. He just didn't really fit in with the day one guest. I mean, you had Erica Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, and then Tucker Carlson, and then you had Russell Brand in there. I expected JD Vance, to be in there on the day one with
Mm.
all of the big shots, but,
Yeah, I
um,
think he finished it
yeah.
out because I was there last year and Trump did it, and I don't think that they can be in the same building at the same time or travel on the same time. So I think that
Physically, they're not supposed to be in the same building for safety reasons.
yeah, so I think that that's the
Yeah.
reason. And JD was obviously really close friends with Charlie Kirk, so I think that Trump was probably like, "You go," like obviously.
Yeah.
And,
I think Trump called in. I think Trump
he
called it.
did.
I got sick with the flu, so I missed the last day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Don Jr.
but yeah.
Put him on speakerphone. Well, I mean, it's good to hear
Okay.
because, before Charlie Kirk passed away, I said, I'm not going this year because it was before Charlie Kirk was taken out. I was like, I don't like the way this is going. I'm not going to reward this behavior and pay for a ticket and go there if it's going to be, let's shit on Israel for 3 days. I think it's just dumb. And from in the past 3 months, I think with a big layup from Candace Owens, which is why me and Sean Farish have a show every week. We were saying this leading up. We're like, let them keep talking. Let people like Nick Fuentes keep talking. Platform him. Put him on big shows. Let Candace keep talking. Let Tucker keep talking. Let Megan keep talking. Because I truly believe that it's very hard to bullshit people. Right? I think you can do it for a certain amount of time, but I think eventually people just see through the bullshit. So in order to get the bullshit out there, you need to platform them. And I think in the past three
Right.
months, from what this may be just wishful thinking, I'm seeing people figure out that Tucker Carlson is kind of a fraud. He's an Islamist apologist. He's got way more leftist views. Candace is a crazy person. Nick Fuentes is a fucking grifter whose engagement is entirely fake. Same thing that happened with Andrew Tate. All the people were like, Andrew Tate's top G. And then I start making videos about him in January. People were like, okay, Misfit, you were right. Shit like that. So, I mean, yeah, as far as next year goes, we'll see. But as of right
Yeah,
now, Turning Point they have to deal with this problem because it is a problem, And what do
yeah.
you think about that? Do you think that we should just unify with these people and unite against the left, or should we continue to address this?
The problem is that they don't wanna be unified with. They've built their whole entire personalities and, followings off of being just people who oppose everything. They oppose what's mainstream. They're contrarians, and this
Hmm.
is like what the whole Nick Fuentes crowd is. They're contrarian. Any mainstream political opinion amongst the conservative movement, they wanna reject because they wanna be special. They want something special to stand out about them,
It's the easiest
and
way
it
to
gives
grift.
yeah, and it gives them value. It's like, "What's special about you?" "Oh, well, I hate black people." "Oh, okay, Nick Fuentes." It's like, "What?" It's like, it's just like anything that they can, hop onto or, like, latch themselves onto that makes them special or unique in some way, but they can also kinda hold back onto, "Yeah, I'm a conservative, even though my values are antithetical to historical conservatism. They're not really America first. I'm gonna portray them in a way that, makes people think that they are," but yeah, it's like an identity crisis. It's like these people have nothing going for them. They just try and be special. And as for like Candace, she doesn't want to be united with. She's a liar. She's consistently lying. I don't know how people have fallen for her game for so long. Like you
It's
could have questions about the
bro.
assassination, but some of the stuff that she said, it's just like insane. And
I hate
she
to
disproves herself every other week.
I hate to sound I hate to sound like Nick Fuentes right now, but it's because women are fucking dumb, and she has a lot
Yeah.
of middle-aged women who are just dumb who are following her. It's not all women, by the way. I'm not really Nick Fuentes, but no, think of her target audience as these like stay-at-home moms who dropped out of high school to raise kids, and they're just they're into soap operas and drama and the Kardashians and shit like that. They're not political, right? They're not political people. They're not politically smart people, and they're just listening to Candace Owens and going, "This is drama. This is great." But then
Yeah.
what happens is, because Candace Owens' relation with TPUSA, Brexit, being in Congress, being a political commentator, it's sort of like we've just invited this group of crazy like middle-aged women into our tent, and they're all like yeah, the fucking B cult killed Charlie Kirk, and it's just crazy. It's something you were talking about earlier though with Nick Fuentes and the ratioing and the bots and everything like that. Like Ian Carroll, same thing. These people are
Yeah.
making it so blatantly obvious that they're using fake engagement, but it's working because what they're doing is it's a fake it till you make it thing where they just go, okay, well, I'm so popular, I'm going to get on a big show because I'm so popular, even though they were never actually that popular. But then when they
Yeah.
get on the big show, you go, wait a minute, this person's fucking crazy. This person's like not even, why are they popular? And that's the trick. The trick is they got to get enough people to believe that because of their popularity, which is fake, it's astroturf, they must be telling the truth, or they must have some credibility. So
Yeah.
I think that there's got to be a way to message that without just coming out and saying, "Oh, it's all fake," because Nick does have a legitimate organic audience. It's just not the audience that you think it is.
I feel like if you wanna I feel like a way, I don't know, maybe this is a stupid idea, but to, like, combat this is to, if you're monetizing on social media, and you have over a certain amount of followers, I think your analytics should, like, be public.
Oh
I
yeah,
think other people should be able to see your analytics and see, the demographic of who's liking your posts,
yeah.
your
There's
engagement rates, your target audience, and where people who are, like, on your page and liking your stuff are coming from to see if it's actually genuine.
I agree. There should. I mean that's something that I wouldn't, if Congress decided to bring that up, like a social media transparency act. I think that would be hugely helpful because right now you can go on. Can't remember the name of the website. It's like Social Blade or something like that, and
Yeah, yeah.
you can look at how many followers people get, and you can kind of track their analytics. But I think that, and I hate giving the government any more power. Like I honestly like I cringe every time I even think of it, but I do think that they have to do something about social media because it's especially with TikTok. With TikTok, I mean, obviously they're selling it. I think in April it'll be completely finalized, even though right now it's partially finalized. But TikTok had people believing that Osama bin Laden was a good guy. TikTok has I this is why I fought TikTok for so long, why I got banned so many times. It started off with I just was in a beef with somebody, but then when I realized the underbelly of it and what they're doing, it's a psyop, it's a brainwashing operation. That is not a
Yeah,
social media platform. That is a Chinese Communist Party brainwashing
yeah,
operation. And if you're a conservative and you're talking about like one of the things that I got banned probably 40 times for telling people how to report to the VAERS system during COVID, right? I was literally just giving public information. I'm like, this is the VAERS system. This is how you can report if you have like, vaccine injuries or if you have anything like that. And my account just down, 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 down. And I would make
wow,
like 10 a day. I didn't give a shit.
that's crazy. Yeah, it's an issue, TikTok specifically. There's, I don't care what anybody says, conservative, voices and, people who, just have right-leaning opinions, they do well, or can do well. It's a lot harder for them to do well, and it's not
Yeah.
because there's not an audience for it, it's because the algorithm on TikTok, intentionally pushes anti-Western, anti-conservative videos,
Yeah.
particularly from young people, and it tells you something that China, who well, when ByteDance was the parent company when they owned it before they divested at all. I think they signed a contract actually like a week ago. It tells you something that China doesn't allow its kids to consume the same TikTok that American kids are consuming. Why?
Yeah, correct.
Why is
But
theirs
also,
all STEM and, science and math, but ours is, anti-Western propaganda?
something that really concerns me about TikTok, it's on YouTube. YouTube does it too. But when you're able to get people to change words, when you're able to like if you instead of saying rape, they say grape. Instead of saying kill,
Yeah,
they say unalived. Instead of saying suicide, they say unalived. Instead of saying this, they say that. When you get to a point where you can change people's words, right? Where they're conscious of the things that they're saying to the point where they have changed their dialect. That's scary shit because that is the evidence of brainwashing. There are people
yeah.
that say it on X instead. Like, and I'm like, you can say
Oh,
like anything you
yeah.
want on here, but people
Dude,
still say it.
I've run into friends in real life who have been, like, unalived.
Yeah, in
I'm
real
like, "What are
life.
you," and they're like, "Oh," they're like, "What am I doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, you've just gotten so used to it." It's like you
Yeah,
stream
that's
all the time on TikTok and you can't say this or that, and you
well,
you
I
get out
mean,
into the real world and it changes you.
well, if you think about it in like in the scariest of 1984, like Orwellian terms, when
Yeah,
you start by changing you can just change somebody's ability to speak, then you can change their ability to think. If you can control their language, you can control their thoughts. And we gotta we got now. Like I said, I'm a free speech absolutist. I also think that there is a big difference between gay and retarded and like faggot and the hard R, right? Where it's
yeah,
like, hey, how about also having common sense and like just some general semblance of moral decency? Because I see
yeah.
this guy on X all the time, Chud the Builder, I think it is, guy with the mustache. And what he does is he goes into these black neighborhoods and he says the hard R at black people, and then he pulls out a gun if they run up on him, and then he goes on X and he raises money. He's like, they're trying to ruin my life. No, you're trying to ruin your life. It's
Yeah,
like you're going into the ghetto and saying hard R at black people, and then you're
I think
running
I've seen
back to
this
the
guy.
internet and playing victim. It's like no,
I think I've
you're
seen this guy, yeah.
yeah, you're responsible for like. There's a difference between cancel culture and what what happens when you like because what they did to me was I made a joke at this guy Modern Warrior who had like 4 million followers.
I know him,
Yeah,
yeah.
I said I made a joke and they were like, all right, they put me on the next door app as a pedophile and I'm not. They left 750 negative business reviews on my business page. They got all my accounts banned.
Wow.
They got me banned off of Stripe, Venmo, Cash App, Square, everything. They all because of a joke.
Jeez.
That's cancel culture. If I had gone out into a black neighborhood and said hard R, I would be like, Yeah, you know what, guys, I probably deserve that,
Yeah,
That's
it's accountability versus nonsense, and I guess everybody's, to be their own judge of that, but, it's obvious, you make a joke to somebody, you don't mean any harm,
yeah.
it's social media, and you can't handle it, and people just go and attack you versus, you doing something stupid on your own,
Yeah,
by
so
your own choice and reaping the consequences of it. It's totally different.
what I've noticed a lot of people on the right have done is adopt this victim mentality by creating a false equivalency between free speech and that. Like what Nick Fuentes is doing, I would argue, is stochastic terrorism, right? Like I'm not saying it is. I'm saying I could make an argument that it is, right?
Yeah,
I could say that what Candace Owens is doing is stochastic terrorism, considering she's been named in two fucking manifestos already from two different mass shooters. I could make the argument that there is a fine line between free speech and what they're doing, and telling a joke or just asking questions versus creating an environment where you basically build a cult, getting that
yeah.
cult paranoid and hateful and resentful towards a group of people, and then one of your followers goes out and does something, right?
Yeah, all
So
it takes is to metastasize into physical action, and then
well,
you're
because
responsible.
it's the same thing that happened with Charlie Kirk's killer, right? Like Tyler
Yeah,
Robinson was indoctrinated through a cult mentality of this leftism, wokeism shit, and now they're calling the right, the reactionary right, the woke right is they're calling the reactionary right. So they're just reacting to the woke left, demonizing white straight young men for so many years. So what I say is I go the reactionary right may have valid grievances, but their reaction to those grievances is invalid. And that's where you got to figure out how to draw the line. So
yeah,
again, like I
I
wanted to
agree.
get your perspective from like you from Gen Z, even though you're way more mature than most of them that I've seen, is what is your sentiment like in real life with young white straight men? Do they feel like victims, or are they more in like the moderate case?
So ever since this whole social media thing started, I never really traveled a lot. So I grew up in small southern town around, small knit group of friends. Everybody here, everybody's different, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody's all alike, but we all have kind of the same attitude. A lot of my friends aren't political at all. But all of them know, like, the big people, like, all of my friends would know Nick Fuentes if you were to go up to him and say, "Hey, who's Nick Fuentes?" And they'd probably say, "Oh, yeah, I've seen that guy, he says some funny stuff," but they would never agree with all of his points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that movement. I feel like there is, from what I've seen on social media, a growing group of young, white, particularly Christian men who have been demonized, who have been told that they and their ancestors are the fault of the entire world. But I also think it's a collective guilt of Western civilization, and I think that men take an issue more to it. I think women, young women who are progressive women in America or in the West are the ones who push this most often, but we're the only society on earth that is told to apologize for our history, and then we have to be the ones who are rewarding all of the people that we've so-called oppressed, even though none of us have been involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see Turkey, apologizing, reopening its borders to the Armenians. We don't see China apologizing for anything. We don't see the Arab militias in the Middle East apologizing for anything and opening up back their borders to anybody who's ever been harmed or oppressed. It's only the West, and it's called Western guilt, and it's a fascinating thing to see. And I think it's particular again in Europe that just we are the only society on earth who has the obligation to self-destruct, to blame ourselves for every problem that has ever existed, and we just think of ourselves as the worst human beings who are responsible for every bad that has
Yeah.
ever gone wrong in the world. And now we have to fix it. And I think the issue is that young men psychologically and emotionally are more susceptible to just say outright no. I'm
Yeah.
tired of this, I'm fed up, and I think that is what has happened. I think the media culture has trained the younger generation to think that, again, we're the problem of everything, and everything that is an issue in the world somehow gets tied back to the Western world or colonialism or something like that, or the white man. And I think white men grew tired of seeing it. They grew tired of hearing about it and being told that they were the problem, and I
Yeah.
think that it metastasized, and I think it came out in somebody like Nick Fuentes, and I think
Yeah.
that's why he's been able to, to get the
No,
traction and following that he has.
I agree with you 100%. And like I said, the reactionary right has valid grievances, right? Their reaction isn't valid, but I've had that, right? I mean, look, I'm a straight white man who was demonized for being a Trump supporter, demonized for being white, demonized for. But the first time I've heard it called Western guilt instead of white guilt was this conversation, and that's actually just a much more accurate definition of it because it's really a guilt of success. And
Yeah,
Western values and Western civilization is the most successful because it focuses on a structure of Greco Roman antiquity with Judeo Christian ethics. So if you
yeah,
put those two things together, which is democracy or Republican rule of law and an ethics system based on all men are created equal, you have a flourishing society.
yeah.
One of the problems with ethics is sometimes you get suicidal empathy, and I think that that's what a lot of people have, which is
Oh,
because of
that's
our
exactly what it is. It's especially when it comes to immigration. I mean, if you look at the immigration crisis that happened to Europe, it happened because people saw photos and videos of like young African children washing up on shores because they were being sent off in ships and like wooden, like basically like a kayak or a canoe across the oceans, and a lot of them were dying and going down. And it was never a problem. The European sentiment did not grow until the videos and photos started emotionally manipulating people
Mhm.
of like 6 and 7-year-olds washing up on shores, and it's a horrible thing to see.
Mm,
But then you had literally like France and Italy like took their entire navies to go out and guide these ships into ports and to like asylum centers. So what does that do? It incentivizes more people to come. They're going to get a free ride. If their
yeah,
ship goes down, they're going to be saved. So there's a difference between balancing the emotional aspects of saying, "Hey, this is horrible." Like there are actually people fleeing from war-torn countries, but there are also many other safe countries that they could go to. They don't have
yeah,
to travel halfway across the world, and we have no obligation to let them come in, especially if they're not gonna assimilate and they're gonna rip up their papers as soon as they get in and we can't track them.
sure. And we have no
It's
obligation to incentivize them to come here either. That's
oh,
a
absolutely. Take the welfare out of Europe and all of them will stop coming. 99% of them will stop
exactly.
coming. But, yeah, it's
Well,
just
I
like
mean,
it's suicidal empathy, yeah.
the way you fix this problem, it's not as easy as it's easier said than done. But it's you fix their countries, right? You help. I mean, you might be able to. This is why I'm not a non-interventionist. I'm not an isolationist. I think like when you see the genocide that's going on in Africa right now, like Nigeria, right? I think because we are who we are and we have the ability to maybe help a little bit or at least put a little bit of pressure when Trump comes out and says that shit better stop, right? I think that that's a better way to deal with it than to say, hey guys, well, you know what, there's a genocide going on down there, we'll take them all in. Just if you if
Yeah,
you if there's a genocide going on in your country, then you should just come here. That's not what Trump did.
yeah,
Trump said, "Stay there, but we got your back." That's more of the way that I would approach it. I mean, you obviously
yeah,
can't be the world police. You can't just go ahead and do regime changes every fucking 5 minutes because a lot of them fail. A lot of them succeed, but a lot of them fail. You just have to find that balance. Charlie Kirk is one of the people, is the guy that said this, and it's something that I've repeated probably 20 times in the past 3 months because he said it right before he died. He said, we've been fed a false binary between interventionism and non interventionism, and there's a third option, and it's what Trump's doing. It's called peace through strength, where you just display strength, you intervene when it's necessary, and only if it's going to help, America or the world, and you
yeah.
don't intervene when it doesn't.
Right. We haven't even seen interventionists from Trump, like,
No.
regardless of what many people would
No,
say. I
one
mean, you
one
could
fucking strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, and they're like, "Oh,
yeah.
World War III." It's like, where's the world? Where is it?
Yeah, they warned for months, yeah.
Blowing
Tucker
up
and Candace
Venezuela,
are 2
but
of the biggest people, yeah.
blowing up Venezuelan drug boats that are bringing poison to our country. World War III. That's not interventionism,
I
right?
don't even
That's
I don't even think half of America even understands what's happening with Venezuela right now. It's
they
like
really
America,
don't.
Venezuela, what is Venezuela gonna do? And, like,
That's what
yeah,
that's what
the
I
whole thing
said.
too with blowing up the drug boats, the
I
people
would.
who are outraged at that, who are more upset that people who are trying to smuggle drugs into our country are dying and not getting
Yeah,
due process
exactly.
versus hey, let's clap that so and so amount of fentanyl and cocaine is not coming into our country to kill hundreds of thousands of people. No, they'd rather be, oh,
Yeah.
what would you
I
even call
mean,
it? Just like
what's
contrarian. They always want something to complain about. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
like Dave Smith. What's that stuff? Arson, is it arsenic? What's that white powder that they put in envelopes to poison people?
I know what you're talking about. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's
But imagine if that was on the boats. Instead of cocaine, imagine if it was like poison, like actual because it is poison, but imagine if it was like some fucking like Nicolas Cage shit from The Rock. Ricin. Yeah, ricin. Imagine if it was that. Would anybody be able to make the same argument? It's like, oh, these boats are bringing in poison, trying to bring in poison into America. That's why we're blowing them up. Instead, what people are doing is they're going, well, they're just drugs, and people can do drugs if they want to. Like, no, what are you talking about? It's like my
I
brother
don't.
died. My brother died from this shit. Like, spare
Yeah,
me your fucking your it's his fault shit. Because yeah, partially true, but also not really, right? Not when it's
yeah.
fentanyl.
It's an epidemic, and yeah, it's a big issue. But to be honest, at this point, I don't know what they could pack those boats full of and try and bring over here. I think if they got struck and killed
Yeah,
by a Republican or right leaning administration, then the left would still freak out. I mean,
yeah.
it's got to a point where it's like I don't know what they won't pitch a fit about, what they won't make a big deal about, or what they won't try and turn political or legal. And I hope to God that they bring some forward, some case forward legally, trying to go after the Trump administration for like
Yeah.
war crimes in international waters because they would lose so bad.
That's what you see. Like
Uh,
their whole first year of this administration has been the exact opposite of what they should have done because they just can't learn from their mistakes. It's like they spent the first year of this administration bitching, trying to get a Venezuelan MS-13 gang member, and they
yeah,
called him a Maryland man. They tried to get him to
uh,
stay in the country. They've done this that like, and this is why I say thank God the left is still the left because we're having some problems right now with the right, with this division, whatever you want to call it. But if the left had their shit together, it would be a much bigger problem. It's almost like
right,
thank God they're worse than us, at
yeah,
least. So we can try to
yeah.
figure this whole situation out. What do you think the solution is from like your perspective for addressing the issue that the reactionary right has, which is a demonization of white Christians, this push for some type of like DEI and more division. How do you fix that problem without going the Nick Fuentes route?
Um,
Because I mean,
I think just be historically honest, but also talk more about things that aren't America. I think living in America, we get so isolated and all we know is America. We don't know the rest of the world. I don't think, or I don't, it's not that I think, I know that 99%, especially of young American men who are college aged, they don't know the history of global politics. They don't know the history of global war, and they
Mhm.
probably know little about geopolitics in general. Um, I think that making living well, this is separate, but I think that making the cost of living and affordability is a big issue that needs to be tackled. I think that a lot of problems stem from that indirectly because that is the biggest problem. And I think it decreases the quality of life and happiness. And I think from that stems a lot of other issues that get redirected and blamed onto other people, where people just look for things to be the source of their problems, kind of like how they do with the Jews. It's always the Jews' fault in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
way.
Well, I
But
mean, so I don't know if you've ever heard my explanation of woke right. I think it's the best one. Like, no offense to James Lindsay, he just makes it way too complicated and intellectual. But so like the woke left, right, is they have a victim mentality with a focus on identity politics, right? So essentially, the woke left is there's an oppressor that's
yeah,
oppressing them, and that oppressor is the white man and capitalists, and their solution is socialism. Okay, the woke right is the same dynamic if you just replace capitalism with Jews and globalists and you replace socialism with nationalism. So it's essentially a victim mentality, oppressor oppressed nationalist solution instead of the socialist, capitalist white man solution. It's
Yeah.
literally the mirror image of the woke left. And
Yeah.
I think that anytime you get into a policy of, well, it's somebody else's fault, and the way we fix it is more government, then you that's a recipe for totalitarianism. It's how
Yeah.
every single nation has fallen and become more oppressed and more subjugated. It's just more government because there's an evil man out there or evil thing out there,
Right.
and that's what Nick Fuentes actually promotes. He's not conservative. He promotes more government. He said like the most important thing is it's order, and it's the government's job to keep everybody in line and make laws against your enemies, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas the conservative ideals, in my ideals would be, I want a federal government so small I don't know it exists. State
Yeah. In the
governments
same way.
should have more power. Federal governments should have less power.
That's how it was set up to be. But yeah, Nick's like a populist kind of like in a way. He's kind of I'm not comparing him to Trump, but just like rhetorically, like in his rhetoric and the way that he speaks, he kind of gives off the 2016 populist Trump vibes of like there's a certain enemy out there, there's a certain corrupt people. I'm going to be, your retribution because you have been wronged by these people and they're lying to
Yeah,
you and they're taking advantage of you. And I'm the only one who can stop it and I'm the only one who can speak out against it.
that's true. And
Um,
and Nick is everything that they accused Trump of being, but wasn't.
yeah,
Yeah, because like
to
Trump,
a thousandth degree. Yeah,
and you know what? Maybe looking back at it, maybe, I mean, I don't think Trump would have won if he didn't use that language, but maybe it would have been better for him to be more definitive about what he was talking about, because he did. Trump kind of did. Trump didn't create a boogeyman that he needed to fight. He identified a boogeyman that he needed to fight. He identified the swamp, and the swamp is
yeah,
very real, right? The swamp is very real. The Jewish cabal that is taking over America is not real. That's the difference
yeah,
between Fuentes and Trump. But this whole Israel debate, I think that it's gotten to a point where it has divided the country,
yeah.
but only because there are certain people who are just jumping in on it like it's a trend. I call it the TikTok dance, right? I'm like, Israel's like a TikTok dance. People don't even know why they hate Israel. What do you think about that?
I think absolutely you're correct. I think any reason that people can have to hate people is to them a good one. It's very easy to scapegoat the Jews. It's historically been easy, and they're small people. They don't ever proselytize. They don't grow in number. They live in their own bubble for the most part. And the issue with like racism and stuff is that it's black versus white. The thing with Jews, and I said this at MFest at an interview, is that everyone can collectivize to hate the Jews because
Mm-hmm.
Jews aren't black or white. They could be both. They've been hated historically for being too dark and too white, too rich, too poor, living in their home country and not being in their home country. So it's any issue that can any way that you look at it. The Jews have been blamed historically, and it's just a collectivization of people all around them. It's like the Jews are in a circle, and there's a bunch of people surrounding them from every different background, belief system that hates them. Yeah, and it has divided the world, and I mean, like I thought that this would all go away when the war ended.
I
Because,
think, yeah,
everything that we heard during the war was genocide, ethnic cleansing,
I know,
slaughtering
now it's
kids,
over.
all the civilians, they flattened Gaza, and now, it's like, well, I was like, "Well, they're not gonna be able to complain about that." Like, sure, there'll be a little bit of fighting and stuff like that, but it'll calm down, and now it's, like, back to the whole, "Oh, they control the banks, they did 9/11, USS Liberty." It's like anything, any opportunity that people can have, and it's not a target at Israel. We always
No,
heard,
it's
"Oh, I
it's
don't hate
Jews.
Jews. I don't like the Israeli government." Now it's, "Oh, I can't talk about the Israeli government or the war because there's nothing really going on. What's another way that I can parrot some anti-Semitic propaganda and just show that I hate Jews?" It's like, I feel bad for him, dude.
Well,
I say it
me
all the
too.
time.
Look, I'm one of those people where if I see, and I don't mean this in like an insulting way, but a weaker enemy. This is just fact. This is just a fact. The Jews are a weaker enemy than the people that are coming after them, by sheer numbers alone. You're a
Yeah,
weaker enemy. When I see like somebody. a weaker enemy being bullied, I always jump in and I protect them. I have that protector personality. And when I saw people going after the Jews, not Israel, because as you just stated, the end of the war in Israel proved that it was never about the war in Israel because they're still fucking talking. Like it's nonstop.
Yeah.
My buddy the other day, and I don't think he's my buddy anymore. I'm at the point where I'm losing friendships over this, and good riddance. But this guy who I've considered a friend for a while, he goes, "Hey, just wanted to say happy Merry Christmas and also remind you that the Jews are the ones that killed Jesus." And I'm like, "You motherfucker." I'm like, "You can't even just say Merry Christmas without making it about the fucking Jews." Um, and by
Yeah.
the way, if that was true, then who killed the apostles? All right, we can do this all day. But
Yeah.
all right. But what I think is going on with the Jews is they they have figured out a way to protect themselves by growing as a powerful group, right?
Yeah.
And because they have grown as a powerful group, because they needed to protect themselves from a larger enemy, people are now getting mad at them for being powerful. And it's like, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, if you're in
Yeah.
the Jew community.
Yeah, hated for being weak, hated for being strong, hated for being white, too white, hated for being dark, hated for being poor, hated for being wealthy, hated
Yeah.
for having their own country, hated for not having their
Yeah,
own country.
exactly.
It
They're kicked out
it's
of
it's,
109 countries, so then they got their own, and now they're hated for that too. It's like, okay,
that whole list is a bunch of BS. It's like 109 territories, and half of it is literally, like, places that they were anciently indigenous to. That was
sure.
just their hometowns where, like, colonial powers came
I
in
know it's
and
such
kicked
a
them out,
fucking
but
the
it's but
talking point.
nobody knows that. Nobody knows that, and it's, like, crazy how fast it spreads like wildfire. It's like the 7K thing. It's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, 109 countries plus 7K." It's like, you guys even, like,
yeah.
look into anything you're saying? They don't. They just see a bunch of other people, and it's
Well, again, this
I
is
don't
one of
know.
the reasons why I'm singing your praises because when I see you debate people, you have all these facts, and you like I think I saw you do that one. I already knew that, but I'm one of those people where I have the facts, I just don't articulate them in the moment that well sometimes. But when I say that argument, I go, "Yeah, you say 109 countries." I go, "By the way, it's not really 109." And then like, but I don't have all that information. And the way that you articulate it, you're like, "No, this is this, and this." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I meant." Like what I say is,
You get used to it. I was the same way.
yeah, but I mean, like, what I also say is, I go, okay, let's use that argument. Getting kicked out of a lot of places means that you're probably wrong, right? Okay. Did the black people in the Jim Crow era that were kicked out of every restaurant they went to, was it their
Yeah,
fault for being black, or
right,
was that a culture that was persecuting them for a reason that now most people agree was wrong? Because you
right,
can also make that argument if it really was 109 countries, which it isn't.
right. Nah, yeah, I mean, that's the most
I mean,
logical way to go. The thing that I would do is say, "Okay, name one place they were kicked out and give me the reason why." And the people would go, "Oh,
that's,
oh, oh, oh." They wouldn't know. Like, "Oh, you have 109 examples. That's 109
yeah,
opportunities to give me an explanation. You don't have one location or you don't know one reason?" And they'd
yeah.
say, "Oh, you can go look it up." That's how it always goes. They're
Like, well,
idiots. It's like,
Poland and
yeah,
okay, why? Because they were
yeah.
Jewish. Like,
It's the whole thing that we were talking about earlier with, like, the group identities and, like,
yeah,
just people latching themselves onto a movement is they start to repeat things, and this is the brainwashing. They don't even know what they're talking about.
sure.
They just assume it's true because they see that somebody posted it and it's repeated. It's reinforced in their brain because they see it every day, every day, every day,
Yeah.
and they're in this echo chamber of and it could be the same thing with people on the left who are seeing the same thing. Trump's fascist. Trump's a fascist. This guy's a
Hmm.
Nazi, authoritarian. And it's reinforced every single day to the point where they don't even challenge things. They just see it so much to the point where they believe it's true.
Yeah,
And
and I
so they,
mean,
they begin to repeat it. And it's like they can't substantiate it. They could never have a conversation with somebody about what they believe, but they'll tell
right.
you outright what they believe. Just
They
they
just
don't
don't
know
know
why.
why.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I asked you the question earlier, like how I would answer it. Like, how do you fix the problem with the people who have fallen into like protecting their identity and being persecuted for their identity without going the Nick Fuentes route? The way I would answer it is I would say focus on the right identity, the American identity, right?
Yeah.
Stop talking about white identity, right? Start talking about American identity. What is it to be an American? Well, first you have
Yeah.
to define what is an American. American is a Western civilization And the way you define that is, what is our structure? What is our system, right? We are a constitutional republic. Where did we get that from? We took it from the Roman Republic. We have a rule of law. We have an electoral college. We have this, 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 and this. What's our value system? Judeo Christian ethics. Yes, Judeo Christian, not Christian. Judeo Christian, because Old Testament and New Testament. Our Constitution is very heavily influenced by the Old Testament, the Jewish one, right? So
Yeah.
when you define that, and you obviously simplify it and dumb it down, but when you say, if we focus more on the American identity than the white identity, then this country will heal, because we will realize that we are all Americans and we all have the same goals and the same values, which is to make this country
Yeah.
a better place to live. Instead of making it a better place for white people to live, or a better place for Christians to live, or a better place for black people to live, or a better place for Jews to live, etc., etc., etc. Define it and use that as the identity focal point, because people love tribalism. I say we just make the biggest tribe the American tribe.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say this, earlier, is there needs to be unification around some aspect of, I mean, I guess you could call it nationalism, but not in
Well,
the way that,
MAGA.
you see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
Trump
yeah.
did a really good job of this. And you know what the fucked up thing is this kid Nick Fuentes has never had an original idea in his fucking life. Trump was the one that started the America First slogan. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
obviously
he got
Ronald Reagan
yeah,
started it, but Trump started the movement, and then Nick
yeah,
Fuentes stole it. Right? It's
yeah,
not even an America First movement. It's literally
yeah.
apparently it's an America only movement, but apparently that wouldn't have sold as many hats.
MAGA, yeah, MAGA sounded better. But yeah, no, I knew that. Nick has actually said that, and I think he's kinda he doesn't wanna talk about it a lot, but I think sometimes when he tells his backstory, he'll actually say, "Well, actually, in 2016, I was hardcore Trump, and I liked his America First movement." He started to leave that part out where he says his America First movement
Yeah.
because it's kinda something that he's claimed for himself.
Yeah, because
But yeah, there
he
needs to
started his podcast in 2020. That was 3 years
yeah.
after Trump started America First.
Yeah, but no, there needs to be it's a huge thing. There needs to be a unification of American people. I think social media also exists to divide us. I
Yeah.
don't think that, I know that. That's proven in political science with incentives for
Oh,
clicks and
100%.
views and just outrage. But there needs to be something that identifies us and stops separating us, and we need to stop viewing problems that we all face as problems of white people or of black people or of this minority or of women or of gender discrimination, wage gap.
Hmm.
We need to focus on the real problems. We need to focus on, um, I think
Well,
we need to restore faith in this country. I think Christianity missing and the collapsing of religion as a whole in America has led to the degradation of society. And I don't say that like just from a Christian standpoint, but I think that religion brings benefits to the economy, or not to the economy, to the country, to
no,
society. And I think
you're
people who
100%
live
right.
a religious life, they're more virtuous,
Hmm.
they're more grateful, they're more respectful. I mean, Christianity gives to charity so much. I mean, it does so many good things for society,
Hmm.
and restore a sense of what it means to be American and not a white American, not a black American, not a Hispanic American, not an immigrant, not a third level immigrant, not a
Hmm.
third generation college student, just an American where we all have our own unique issues and we're all fighting to improve the quality of life of everyone, not
Yeah.
one person at the advantage of another or vice versa. So,
You know,
but
it's funny that
you don't win elections like that. Sorry to cut you off. You don't,
no,
that's a big thing, is that you have to have problems to create to win elections, to make a certain group of people feel as if they're targeted and something is wrong with them, and that you can solve their problem. That's literally the whole idea of politics. Create a
yeah,
problem, blow it out of the water, and then tell these people hate you. I'm gonna save you.
yeah.
And that's what the left does.
You know, like I said, Trump's rhetoric could have been better in the first term, but he did win off of it, and that was politics. But it's funny that you bring up the whole something to unify around, because I think that if you just look on paper, right, and you shut out the noise and all of the distractions, what Trump is doing right now is everything that you just said. He brought in a bunch of former Democrats into this administration. He brought RFK in. He brought Tulsi Gabbard in. You know, even his little tiff with Elon Musk, whatever. But at least the focus for Elon Musk was, I want to cut the debt. He brought in Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, and he really, I don't think he's doing the best job. But you know, if we start seeing arrests later into this term, then I think people are going to really react to that. And the thing that people are going to react to most, because This is just the way of the world. We are a selfish species. If your bills start getting lower, if Trump's economic policy starts creating more money and opportunity and jobs and manufacturing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and it trickles down, we don't have any more problems. And I think that people are trying to latch on to problems, and you're getting distractions from both sides, the woke right and the woke left, when hopefully this is just like maybe me being optimistic. Trump really does have his eye on the ball. Hopefully, you never
Yeah.
know.
No, I'm in the same boat with you there, I agree.
Because what I want to see is I want to see gas continue to come down. I want to see jobs keep coming back. When I see a headline that literally zero of the new jobs created were government jobs, I get a little it gets a little stiff. Like 6 to midnight every time because I'm like I don't want government jobs. I don't want what Biden did, where we're creating a bunch of. I want private sector jobs. And if I see a
Yeah,
lot of private sector jobs, I know that in 6 months to a year, we're going to feel the effects of that. As of right now, we don't see the effects. As of right now, we're
yeah,
still feeling the effects of Biden. But I think
yeah,
6 months to a year from now, I think we might hopefully be looking really good. That's why the midterms are the most important thing to focus on. We need to start naming candidates. We need to get people out. What is your thoughts on people like Thomas Massey, fucking with his thoughts?
the only reason that I know of him is because of his whole, again, contrarian stance of just, like, opposing, like, everything that, like, the Republican Party stands for the most part, especially, like, in terms of foreign policy. I don't know too much of what he's voted on or what he is if he has proposed anything to be able to give like a well-rounded
Oh,
opinion of
let me
him.
give you some stats. Thomas Massey has been in Congress for 13 years, and he has passed exactly one fucking bill. And you know what that was? The Epstein
What
one,
was it?
like a month ago. 13 years.
Oh,
13 years, the first bill he ever passed, he had Democrats over like all of the Democrats vote for it. He's a libertarian. He's a Republican in name only. He's a protest vote most of the time. He votes with the Democrats more than any other member of Congress. So I think that getting him out, because look, I'm not a GOP person. I don't even call myself a Republican. I call myself a conservative constitutionalist for a reason because I don't want to be associated with either party. However, the GOP's infinitely better than the Democrats, and we have a two-party
yeah,
system. So when I see somebody that's hurting the GOP in Congress, I always want to do my part to get those swampy people or those rhinos out. So
yeah,
midterms, primary, and the guy who's running against him is a farmer, a veteran, and a business
yeah.
owner. And those are the three tenets I think that should be of any congressperson.
It's gonna be tough though with his whole like hard line thing on foreign policy. He's like, I mean, if you were to ask like a bunch of random people to name one congresswoman or man, they wouldn't be able to. But he's
Yeah.
like one of the ones. Him, I mean, there's a handful of other ones, but just him and the popularity that he's gained, it would be hard, but, no,
Well,
that that's a bad track record.
that's
One
the
one
other
bill
thing about
proposed.
social media not being the real world, right? He is
Yeah,
representative of Kentucky's 13th district.
yeah,
So
yeah,
him doing a poll on X that's being taken by fucking Pakistani bot farms about how popular he is fucking irrelevant. If the people
yeah,
of Kentucky who overwhelmingly voted for Trump and Thomas Massey ran unopposed because nobody was running against him because it's a heavy Trump district, uh, if they don't feel like he's representing them and they feel like he's grandstanding and constantly being a problem, they will vote for somebody else. So I think that that would be a
yeah,
vote. That would be a race that we definitely want to focus on. And what I mean
yeah,
by midterms are the most important election, we we have, I think, I don't know if you feel the same way, have learned that a slim majority in Congress is fucking useless because
yeah, it's not enough.
Mike Johnson isn't going to do shit. We need to run the fucking table so that we don't have to worry about, Mike Johnson being it's like super nice guy, super duper nice Christian guy who doesn't want to hurt
Yeah,
anybody's feelings.
yeah, 2 things, just quickly. I was being guilty of the whole social media thing. When you pointed out that it's the people in Kentucky who are gonna be voting for him alone, I felt stupid. I'm like, "What am I talking about?" Like, all these people on social media, like, half these people aren't even in Kentucky, they're not gonna be voting for him. So I see what he gives off on social media, and he's getting, like, 100,000 likes or something like that,
Hmm.
or a viral post, and, like, everybody knows who he is because he's a controversial person. But, like, these people aren't gonna be voting for him. What am I talking about? So it's like, this isn't
No, but
the real world, but
you're also right in what we talked about earlier, where social media isn't real life, but it affects real life because a lot of people attribute popularity with credibility. So there are
yeah,
people in Kentucky that might go, "Well, that guy Thomas Massey's really popular. We'll just vote for him," because they don't know shit about politics. They don't know anything about his record. So that's where you really gotta control the messaging. And politics
yeah,
is one. Unfortunately, these days, politics is one with whoever has the most money can buy the most ads and create the best messaging, not who's the
yeah,
actual best candidate, which is why, again, this is just something I would love to see, but it won't happen. Is I think that there should be laws in Congress that should basically be like a salary cap where everybody's on the same playing field as far as ad buys. And I think we should get rid of PACs. We should get rid of all the
yeah,
lobbying. Everybody gets, let's say, $10 million and go, that's your budget.
yeah.
If somebody tries to donate over once you hit your 10 million cap, and the only people that should be able to give to Congress people are actual fucking voters in their district. Everyone's got a $3,000 something limit. Cool. Raise as much as you want with that $3,500 limit. And then after that, you can cap out at 10 million. After you hit 10 million, no mas, no vacancy.
I would love to see all lobbying disappear.
Yeah.
Would love to see it. It's such a
Well, APAC,
big
and we would
problem
never
on
we would
so
never
many
have the
levels.
APAC
Oh,
talking point.
oh, don't worry. They did 9/11.
They did,
Don't worry.
they
It's
the
something
Jews
else.
the Jews did 9/11. They killed JFK,
JFK,
RFK,
yeah.
Charlie
Charlie
Kirk,
Kirk, yeah.
everybody.
Who else? Next person who dies suddenly, it's gonna be the Jews' fault. I mean,
Do
yeah,
you
they were blaming the Bondi Beach shooting as a Mossad
Yeah,
operation in Australia. It's like,
yeah,
you can't go 15 minutes after 16 of them get slaughtered by a radical Islamist with ISIS material in his truck,
exactly.
without blaming them. It's like, there's
Well,
nothing that can
it's a
happen that they won't blame
convenient
them on.
it's a convenient thing that the people who are anti-Israel get to do, where they just blame Israel for it, and then they say, you really think that if we had you really think that they would have left paper trail? You really think that, like, and I'm like, well, if they didn't, then why are you saying,
Yeah,
like, because Ian Carroll's arguments are basically, we don't know, but here's a whole bunch of shit that Israel might have done in the past, like, and then they just jump right back to the USS Liberty or some shit. And they're like, yeah, it looks very similar to this other thing that we think the Jews did, but we don't know. Like Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell's father had a connection with the fucking Mossad. Okay.
yeah.
Like,
Or they say something about, I forget who it is. I think it's Ghislaine Maxwell's father owns McGraw-Hill, the textbook company, and they're
something.
like, "Oh, this is how the education system has been infiltrated by the Jews, and they've
Ah,
rewritten history." It's like,
yeah.
are you stupid? Like,
Not Qatar pushing like $200 billion over the past 20
yeah,
years now.
they don't care. They don't know. Those are
And
Arabs. They don't care
when you
about
look at
those people.
a country the size of Qatar, where it's like, I think it's 875,000 fucking people, and they've managed to raise 20 billion for American institutions, and people like Owen Schroyer don't care about that because it's like, oh yeah, why are you mad about free money to our constitutions? Okay, then why are you mad about APAC? This
Yeah,
is why, like, the double speak, it doesn't make sense.
yeah,
The Civil
100%.
War on Instagram is also being blamed on the Jews. Okay. this, the Civil War in America was being blamed on the Jews, with the Jewish state that didn't
Slave
ex,
trade.
didn't exist yet. Oh, Candace
Oh yeah,
Owens did that
well,
one. Yeah, Candace Owens tried that one
I
the other day.
saw. I made a video responding to it. It's
Oh
like,
my god.
by what record? But the thing that she does is she says the word bury so weird. She says
Bury.
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 She
I'm
goes
like, what the
she
fuck is that?
she goes, "You need to wake up to the real history of slavery. The Jewish people were the ones who were trading us. They've buried a lot of it, but it's out there and you can go find it." It's like, okay, Candace, why don't you go find the evidence? And why don't you do a whole stream where you present the evidence? Because you're so good at finding all this evidence with Charlie and identifying Egyptian planes. Why don't you go find the evidence that the Jews ran the slave trade? Go pull up the port logs, Go pull up
Mhm.
all of the history, go find the historians, and then why don't you present it? She won't do that. She'll
No,
just
she
tell you, "It's out there."
asks plenty of questions, answers fucking none of them. Like I mean, like
Absolutely.
that's what I started saying very early on with the ask questions people. I'm like, instead of asking questions, how about you find the answers to the questions you're asking? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's okay to
give that a
ask
shot,
questions,
you
but
know. What do you
yeah,
so
no,
what is your like main thing? Because obviously you debate. I've seen your debate clips. Are you doing that on Twitch or where are you doing that?
so I did my debate. I haven't done one in actually some time now. I was doing them on TikTok Live all the time.
Okay, TikTok Live.
Um,
I remember I used to do
yeah,
those.
yeah. I never had like a steady like schedule. I would literally just be like, "Oh, I'm bored. No, I'm gonna go do a live stream on TikTok." And sometimes
Okay.
it would last for like 2 hours and sometimes like five. But yeah, I'd run like a whole list of topics. I've debated forever on so many issues. That's again how I built up one of my accounts that got banned years ago. It was funny. I saw Dean and Barker.
Yeah, I've heard of the
The
name.
they're the
Is
two
that
guys
liberal?
who they yeah, both of them, they're best friends. They blew up. The Dean kid has like millions
Yeah,
on
he's
like
the one
every
with the yeah,
platform.
he's the one with the fucking blonde hair. He looks like a
Yeah.
soy boy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I saw them, they know of me because we've debated, I knew of them, like, before they got popular because they were all on TikTok doing the whole, like, abortion and LGBTQ debate, and, I saw them at AmFest. Day 1, they
Okay.
were outside, they had their camera crew with them and their mics, and they were literally just finding the oldest person with a MAGA hat on that they could take advantage of, who they knew would not be able to answer any of their
Yeah.
questions for clips,
Yeah.
and, yeah, I saw him and I went up and talked to him, and, I just thought it was funny, but
So at Amfest, when you were walking around, what was the energy like in the general space, right? Because I know that Myron Gaines there. I'm the one that exposed his T-shirt. It's not like somebody else wouldn't have done it. I drew a red circle around his hoodie, and
yeah.
that blew up. But was it a lot? Was there a lot of tension there, or was it pretty much just normal
No,
and chill?
it was normal. It was
Yeah.
normal. There were pockets of people, there was a handful of, like, groypers there, and I say
Yeah.
groypers, actual groypers. I actually I walked around a lot, I got noticed a lot, by tons of different people,
Did you see
like,
that
people
Groiper just got exposed for being a cross dresser? Hold on. Let me find this thing. I just woke up to it today. I have no idea. I had no idea about it, but it was all over my feed before we jumped on. Let's see if we can find this thing. Willem or something? Yeah. Let me go look.
That does not surprise me at all.
Oh, here it is. Look at this guy. This is Nick Fuentes, one of Nick Fuentes' buddies. He was with Nick Fuentes just the other day on the street when that kid woman
Got
propaganda got
slapped?
slapped. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at AmFest, that's funny.
Oh
I
my
was
god.
actually at an after party when,
Yeah, yeah, this guy.
woman propaganda got
A
slapped.
a groiper has just been exposed. A groiper has just got exposed as being the biggest degenerate on the entire planet. Okay, see, this type of stuff isn't helpful. Just stick to the facts. But
Yeah.
this is apparently Willem or Willem or
Oh.
Virilum. Yeah,
Oh, did they delete the page? Beryllium or whatever.
Virillium. That's who it is. Yeah.
I've seen yeah, I
So this guy on
yeah.
this thing on the right, that's Virillium. Apparently he's a crossdresser. So
Yeah, the pose with the open mouth and the lipstick is a little much, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clear to me. I don't. Oh, sorry. It's pretty clear to me, but I don't know if it's like I don't know why it's not clear to more other people that the
Yeah.
Groiper movement is a very effeminate bunch of like incels. Like they're
Yeah.
like Nick Fuentes is gay to me. Like I don't know if he's actually gay, but he's gay to me. Like I look at him and I'm like, you're gay. Like, and it's nothing wrong with that. Just like the Jerry Seinfeld thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you're
Yeah.
gay. Like it's the hands all the time. The
Yeah.
yeah.
His hands
Um,
get limp a lot too, and it's like the wrist is
this is a
I
lot.
seen him holding I told him saw him, holding a coffee cup, and he had, like, little, like, hook in it, and he was,
Yeah.
like, dangling his wrist. I'm
And
like,
he crosses his legs. Like I say, I go, the only people that can cross their legs like fully cross, like not the man cross where you put your ankle on
yeah.
the top of your knee, but the fully cross. Two types of people can do that if they're men. Fucking millionaires and gay people, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Nah, I'm the same way. I have to do the 4. It's like with my knee,
I did.
like you said. With
I was on what's it called? Alex Stein's show, and I was debating a Groyper. I was debating the Infowars guy, um, and he had his legs crossed, and I did the man cross, and there were people that were telling me that I was sitting weird, and I'm like, I'm not fucking sitting weird. He's sitting weird.
yeah,
I'm
you get
sitting
the
like I
woman
have a dick.
cross.
It's so
Yeah,
funny.
when you do the full cross, it's
If you're a
pinches,
millionaire,
man.
if you're a very rich person, for some reason you can do it because you're usually wearing a very expensive suit, and I don't know why you can do it, but you can do it. But other than that, no.
Yeah,
I think if you
yeah,
you need to buy that look. You can't just go ahead and do that as one
yeah.
of the pores.
That's funny.
Anyway,
I
man.
agree.
I mean, we just did over an hour. I appreciate you coming on. Anything you want to plug? Any other topics that you want to talk about? I could sit here for another hour if you want, but it's up to you.
I gotta I gotta drive like 2 hours to go take my brother something that I did not
Perfect.
get yesterday.
Well,
So now's
go.
a good time to go wrap it up. No, I don't have anything,
Yeah. Well,
necessarily
I
right
just
now.
like I said.
I wish I could talk for another hour. I enjoyed this conversation. I don't
Oh,
ever
me
do
too.
these. This is like the first time I've ever done one of these.
Oh, this is great. Well, I
Um,
mean, I hope more people bring you on because, like I said, I see something in you, and I just see it's the energy you're giving off in your debates, and not only in your debates, but in your videos when you break down things. I think that you have the knowledge and you're articulate, and it's something that more people need, especially in the younger group online, because we are seeing way too many Nick Fuenteses and not enough you.
yeah,
So when I see young, white, I assume straight, male,
yeah,
I think you're Christian as well, you said?
yeah, yeah.
Young, white, straight Christian male who's actually smart, articulate, and who's well educated, talking about the right things. I think that we need to promote them, so that's why I wanted to bring you on here, man.
No, I appreciate it.
Plug your pages, plug anything you want, and we'll let you go.
Yeah, at the moderate case on everything.
Okay.
Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, I got the link for his X
Uh,
in the bio, guys, and then
yeah.
follow his Instagram as well.
Yeah, there should be a link tree, I think, also in my ex bio that has like everything. Let me see.
Perfect.
But if not, just the moderate case anywhere. Yeah, there's a link tree in the bio of my ex
Go
that
back.
will, if you click it, it'll take you to
Okay, here you go.
whatever it is. Yeah, so
So
that
this is where
has
you can
everything on
find
it.
the moderate case on all socials. So go there, support this guy, give him one of those buy me a coffee things, and we'll get you back on here soon, brother.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. I have so many offers to do things like this, but normally it's with people who I don't know, who I don't find interesting, or who I think it wouldn't be valuable for my time. And again, I'd seen you. I like what you do. I think you're hilarious many times. So
Thanks, man. Appreciate
I
that.
wanted to do this. So no, it was a good
Well,
conversation. I
more
really enjoyed it.
conversations like this can't hurt, but I'll hook you up with some people, and we'll get you out there because I think you have a good message. All right, brother. Thanks
I
for coming
appreciate
on.
it.
All right, bye.
Absolutely, bro. Let me know if you need anything.
We'll do. All right, boys and girls. That was I think it was Jacob. Yeah, he said Jacob. If he said something else, then I forgot. But yeah. So we're gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna probably pop back on maybe this evening. Definitely early tomorrow because I don't know if I have to get this in before the 30th. But just to be sure, I think I'm gonna do a night show tonight. Just a standard, just the news, and we'll crush out that last hour of content that we need for the Rumble Creator Program. So no specific time as of yet. I don't know if you guys caught the beginning of the show, but I did pull an all nighter because I just fucking my sleep schedule got completely screwed up. Saturday when I did that show, I was like out of it, out of it, out of it, and I was like, still, I got to get the hours in. Um, but I'm gonna take a very long nap, at least a 6 hour nap, as soon as I sign off here. So let's plan for somewhere in the 7 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. hour. But I will be back on because I really want to bang out the 30 hours. It would have been easy because we racked them up so fast at the beginning of the month, but then Christmas and I got sick and a bunch of other shit. So I will be back tonight at some point. No specific time, but keep an eye out for it. Let's do the shout outs. We got Roadrunner 513 in the chat, Eden, 7 Legion Studios, TPH 14, Hellraiser 92, On the Edge, 508J Fisher, Star Spangled Savage, The Killjoy, and Eden, if I didn't already say Eden.